What's up, everybody? Unplanned live stream as usual. What a week. What a day. What a week. What a day. If you missed this random live stream, you are welcome to catch it on the replay. Anybody who follows this channel, you guys know I just randomly pop up and just talk about this and that. This week, I gotta say, I am a believer. I am a believer. I am a believer. And I think my belief in something beyond myself is definitely something that keeps me strong. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me being able to just get things done. I have often said to fellow believers that I truly do feel sorry for people who have not gotten to know God beyond the Bible, but a true relationship built on faith. Right? I feel bad for people who don't have that. Sometimes I have believers' remorse, if you will, because it's just this world is so crazy. And, I think that a lot of people, they run around, they believe in themselves, they believe in the almighty dollar, they believe in all these things. And at the end of the day, strength in something beyond yourself is just, it gets you through. And I have my strength in the Most High, God of Israel, God of Abraham. And He protects me, He protects my people. And, I don't really operate with a whole lot of worries, but I'm human, right? And so there's things that obviously vex me. I'm a licensed professional, and you get hit with all these CE credit things, like, and it's just like, oh my God, where did this come from? I thought I did all of this. And so it was just a stressful week. I've been homeschooling my son full time this month. So I just been going, it's just been a lot to transition into. But God gave me the strength and He's keeping me going. So happy Sabbath to those of you who have gotten through the week with the grace of God. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So all praises to the God in heaven and the King, Yeshua. So I was looking at these plane crashes, though I had to check into the reality of Satan's world. And I'm seeing these just odd plane crashes. And I think that the timing of these plane crashes is just sus. Nothing to me is what it seems. I think that there's hidden symbolism. Sometimes there's even hidden ritual in some of the things that we see. But I think it's very queer. And let me know what you all think. But I think it's very clear that all of this, we're popping off 2025. We're just kicking off the year. Trump gets inaugurated, and boom, we got all this weird stuff. Hell, what's going on, Chet? I see you, Deanna. Intellectual ambition. I see you. Thank you for joining. But we know this world is crazy. But sometimes I even wonder, what is the schemes of the devil all about these days? I'm trying to understand the purpose of it, right? Because let's just say that there is a hidden agenda, there's a hidden purpose behind some of these just very odd collisions, like a military plane. A military plane. If that doesn't scream suspect to you, I don't know what would. Like, and then Trump is getting on the mic talking about DEI and all this other obnoxious stuff. When at the heart of it, I think that we have a lot of evil people in these organizations. I think, DEI has nothing to do with the evil people sometimes in these organizations. And I think even just, because we don't know the root cause of these crashes yet. We don't. We really don't know. I mean, it could be a mechanical failure of the plane, right? We know the collision one, right? But I'm talking about this incident in Philadelphia. If you've seen the pictures, I'm like, oh my God! Imagine driving, right? Normal day, and then all of a sudden you see something like that, and it's like, oh my God! I mean, this is life changing. It's sad, but I just think it's odd. I think it's odd. And I'm actually more curious, and I know this is maybe some people like Angie too soon, but I'm like, who was that patient on that plane? Who was that patient? Like, because obviously, that Philadelphia incident was a medical plane. It was a medical plane. And apparently, six people died, right? You had two doctors, right, who were trying to save some patient's life. You had a family member, right? And then you had the pilot, right? So, wait, two doctors, the patient, the family member, the pilot. Who's the sixth person? Curious about that. But I am very curious to know who was that patient. Because, I mean, this could be just a freak accident, but like, what a way to go. Like, for the family member, it's like, I'm here for you, Johnny. I'm here for you until the end, right? Literally. Because that's pretty much was the last flight any of those people were to take. And it just seems too sus to me, right? I feel like people brag about the technological advancements of mankind, and yet we got planes crashing all over the freaking place. Like, what is really going on here? We are way more advanced than this to have these incidences, right? Have we really gotten that sloppy with our advancements? What is going on? Why are these planes, the aviation industry used to be very respected in the United States. What the hell is happening here? Why are these industries degrading like this? And I mean, it's beyond Boeing. It's just, what the hell is going on? It's almost like, I feel like, in a way, it's almost like they're creating a fear, a commercial fear of flying with these repetitive incidences, that it tells me that maybe the World Economic Forum wants to, get rid of consumer flying, right? So that they can brag about their climate objectives, right? All the while, the billionaires are going to continue to fly their private jets and all that stuff. But maybe this is their way of limiting our traveling, our capabilities, right? Who knows? But it seems like the aviation industry is not doing very well. And you said it happens all the time. That's a problem, though. Shalom, my friend. Shabbat shalom to you if you observe. But, I mean, the fact that people are saying it happens all the time, that is like a problem in itself. Because aren't we supposed to be supposedly medically, I mean, I'm sorry, technologically advanced to the point where we're minimizing these incidences? Like, I mean, where's the continuous improvement? Where's the ISO, right? Where is, like, the Kaizen folks, right? Where are you guys? Right? There's something wrong with the quality here, because this shit is the quality of training or the quality of manufacturing these aircraft. Something is wrong, because I feel like this is happening a little too much for people to be bragging about advancements at this point. Let me see. Let me go to the chat over here because I can barely see what is going on here. But this is crazy. The world is crazy to me. I mean, and it's just like, it's one of those things. It's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I think that nobody understands that. Let me pull this up. Nobody understands that more than a person like Lizzo. I was catching my news feeds, and apparently Lizzo has made the effort to lose a lot of weight. She's been working on her body. I think it's Ozempic, but kudos to her. But she's been working on her body after she, sort of promoted this obese, love your body, body positivity. When that movement kind of crashed, I think Lizzo kind of just was like, no, I don't want to be your fat role model anymore. And so it's like she's losing weight. And I'm looking at Lizzo like she looks great, but even still, I don't want to be skinnier Lizzo, right? I'm still looking at Lizzo like I got to get in the gym. I got to get these few extra pounds off of me before June. I got to get summer ready, you guys. But I wouldn't want to be Lizzo. But I do applaud Lizzo because obviously the fat shaming has inspired her to go and make adjustments, right? She is losing the weight. She is, sort of addressing the haters. But I think Lizzo is finding out that even when you do what the haters want you to do, lose the weight, then they got some other stuff to say about it. So she's getting shamed for her weight loss now. Some of the fat girls that she inspired to be fat and unapologetically fat, they're coming at her, right? But this is what it is. And, I believe that, I think the men are horrible in terms of the things that they can say about a woman. But I think it's a lot of that is the women. She's getting a lot of it from the women, and she's probably very confused. But, I think the thing is that women and people like Lizzo should know, right, is that women compete with each other, right? I think women compete with each other. And I think the reason why so many women were encouraging Lizzo is because they knew that she was the very image of what they would never want to be, right? So they would encourage her to be like that so that she could be their swan song, right? And, I think that, people admire, I think when you look at how women were just really just taking up for Lizzo and, encouraging her body positivity, I think it was just self validation, right? Because if I got a little weight on me, I still don't look like Lizzo, right? Right, and that's I think how a lot of women rationalize. But when Lizzo starts to lose weight, and now she starts kind of reminding them of their body image. The more weight Lizzo loses, the more she is reminding some other woman about her own body image. And so her excuses for continuing to stay fat or overweight, right? It really just diminishes the more that Lizzo diminishes. So I think that the hate that Lizzo is really getting is a bunch of insecure people who were validating themselves through her grossly overweightness. And now that she's trying to adjust that, she's getting the haters, right? It's damned if you do, damned if you don't in this world. And women are some of the most vile creatures that God created on so many different levels. And I am a woman, right? But I recognize that women, you know, we are not the innocent ones in history in so many different levels. And, when you read the Bible, when you read the ancient texts, and even when you look at women and the evolution of women, right? Women are more dangerous to societies and nations than ever before. And that's just word 100, right? You think men are the faces of a lot of the evil that we see. But behind every vindictive man, there is a woman somewhere lurking around, encouraging him in some kind of way, you know? So, and especially during competition, women are very, very vindictive, right? So, I think that Lizzo, again, I think she's getting the backlash from other women, right? Because as she lose weight, they are losing their fat crutch and their excuse to be their own size, right? When you see another woman losing weight and feeling great about herself, you automatically, start looking at yourself like, man, I should be losing a little weight too. And I'll be honest with you, I'm inspired by overly fat people working out very, very hard. To be honest with you, they inspire me because it's like if they asses can just do this, I can get my ass up and do it too, right? So overly fat people, keep doing what you do, right? Because you do want to have a positive body image of yourself, and that ain't it, right? But you do inspire people like me because, when I'm like 15, 20 pounds, a little heavier, and I see y'all just like Richard Simonson. Like I was inspired by the fat people in Richard Simmons, right? I'm over 40, right? So I was up on Richard Simmons. He was what's up, you know. But anyways, let me get to the chat. Um, we are just talking about different crazy topics that are going on. And we were talking about that plane crash. I don't think these plane crashes are just random, if that makes sense. And I hate to be a conspiracy theorist about everything, but when you see the calculation and the coordination and you kind of understand how things work, you realize that nothing is really an accident. Nothing is really a mistake. There are people who have enough money to make a lot of things happen and make them look like mistakes and accidents. So I'm just saying that this plane crash business stuff, I want to know who that patient was. I'd be curious to know who the patient was. I know that we got all kinds of laws protecting that kind of information, but I'd be curious. That was a big, big, that plane went down. If you look at some of these videos, I mean, it was just falling from the sky. It's almost like literally it just stopped working in the air and was just like bloop. I mean, that it was just boom, no control. I mean, whoever the pilot was, he was going straight down. It was like a kamikaze mission almost. Insane in the membrane is what I'm saying. You said crazy the amount of hate and body shaming that comes from party of inclusion and diversity. Yeah, that is very true. I mean, I think that some of these people they are obsessed, right? Because I think body image is one of those values that people can at least say that they have. They can be dumber than a sack of diapers, right? Can't create anything, can't really give anything to society, but somewhere, in society, they like rock hard bodies, and that's what these people are really evaluating themselves with. So, you know how that goes. I mean, I just care about being healthy. I do care about having a positive body image of myself. So I wouldn't want to be Lizzo's size if I ever felt like I was getting borderline Lizzo's size. And I got my mom is old school, like my adoptive mom. So she taught us never to let ourselves go. She even told us, I will disown you if you got fat and bald headed. Right. So my mom really did teach us not to let ourselves go. It's okay to gain a little weight, but don't let yourself go, right? And my mom, Lizzo would not have wanted my mom as her mom because she would never be like that, unfortunately. And people keep saying, well, this is how some people are built. Some people just eat to be built like that. And, they have to acknowledge their behaviors and how they look too. So, I'm not down for body shaming people, but I definitely give people props like Lizzo for at least addressing it, and having a positive image that makes her happy about herself. And, if I was her, I wouldn't even think about the haters, especially the females who are really just living their self confidence vicariously through her fatness, anyways. So that's just my assessment about that. Anyways, let's go. You said, let me go here. Right on. I see you, Ali. Who is coming? Tages, Rawi. I don't know who you are coming up in here talking about what's up, my nigga. But you probably ain't black, so I'm not your nigga. Not even close. You ain't even down. You not even invited to the cookout. So we just gonna block you from the channel for being rude. And next time, don't come over here with that dumbass shit. Y'all swear every time y'all see a black person, y'all want to come up in there with that my nigga shit. Nobody invited you to the cookout. Nobody invited you to cookout. You weren't even invited to the garage sale. So take your what's up, my nigga ass off my channel. Blocked. All right. So don't come over here saying shit because I will block you unapologetically. Yes, God has blessed me with some ass holiness. But anyways, let's see. I put Up here we got another one. Satan talking about holy water. We don't care about what you do with your thing, Satan. Block. I don't know why these little ignorant ass people come up in here. Like, seriously, who raised you people? Who raised you people? See, I got to block all these dumbass people talking about like his dangling and holy water. It's like, ain't nobody touching your dangling but you, boy. Shut up. Ain't nobody touching it but you. But, anyways, or somebody who you pay to touch it. Stop playing with me. All right. So, anyways, these people, I swear, I specialize in hurting feelings because I cannot stand overtly ignorant people. You are not tolerated over here. I cannot stand overtly ignorant people. I really can't. I really can't. And it's like some people, they feel like they have a badge to be ignorant because I don't know if they just got a lot of money, right? But I don't care how much money somebody has. If you are overtly ignorant, you will get your feelings hurt because then nobody asked you to bring your energy to them, no matter how much money you have. Anyways, we got. Did you guys see that DJ Academics? Right. First of all, I don't see how people are calling dude a DJ. He sucks. He's not part of the real black culture. Somebody was showing a clip of Nipsey Hussle talking about DJ Academics, and the brother was spot on. He's a culture vulture, right? A product of these immigrants who come over here and leech onto black culture and just start saying shit, right? Well, Academics just saying shit did not work out for him recently because apparently there's audio of him grooming a 15-year-old boy. So you got these grown men in these video chats with these young boys, which is just freaking weird by itself. I would never date a guy that plays video games. They're not they are not desirable type of men. All right? I think that there's other things that men could be doing, like some carpentry around the house, chopping wood, building a hobbit's nest or something other than video games. I have no respect for a man that just sit there playing video games all day. Shame on you and shame on your mama, because somebody did not evaluate you well. And a lot of these people got a lot of money. They got these little legacies and trust funds. So now they can just be certified losers as they deplete their trust funds. It's really sad, but he's in these grown men in these chats. I guess he was in a Discord with these, I guess it's a mixture of different people on there, losers, male losers, on this platform, and they're playing. I guess somehow a 15-year-old boy got invited to their game. And Academics and these other guys, right? They're essentially trying to groom this kid, right? And what's ridiculous is that the only non-adult in the room basically is trying to remind the adults in the room of his age and the inappropriateness of their dialogue towards him. So now Academics is essentially taking a hit, and I hope he takes a huge hit. I think anybody who messes with DJ Academics, because I feel like, you are the company that you keep. And a lot of people don't want to believe that they are guilty by association, but you really are. It's like hanging out with a pedophile, right? If you hang out with a pedophile, right? An overt pedophile, right? You are the company that you keep. There is no in between to this. You are the company that you keep. And so I look at people like Academics, some of these other people big on these platforms, some of their associations, some of these Moloch worshipers undercover that just get their coins from Moloch worshipers, and it doesn't really surprise me. But I think that I love the fact that in the age of social media, there's still morality because you have grown men, people who have had respect for Academics. They're straight up saying, like, bro, you were way out of pocket. You're not going to come back from this because you have just basically showed us who you are. And I tell my kids all the time, when people show you who they are, believe them. Okay? Don't rationalize why you should keep rocking with these people. Right? When people show you who they are, it is your job to believe them. Some stresses and some people in your life that brings you stress, it is a choice. And a lot of times that choice comes because people do not want to cut these people off. I don't know, for fear of being lonely. I don't know, but I'm like the apostle Paul. I'd rather be alone than to sit at the table of evil with evil men. I rocks with the apostle Paul on that point. Because a lot of these people, they will tear you down and they will make you guilty by association. So academics, definitely, you 35 years old, sir, you need to learn how to mind your association, because obviously your association got you grooming young boys, and that's just disgusting. It's disgusting. But I would like to remind people that DJ Academics do not belong to the Black American community. He belongs to those black looking immigrant folks. So they will need to deal with him. He's just a Black American culture leech at best, but he's not one of ours. All right. Anyways, here we go. You said got a reality. You said Chickmunk got a reality check talking about King James, and he did. They went in on LeBron. I think Kai Cenat even tried to check him on going in on LeBron, trying to out him. And academics, like, I think that it's there's levels to these black puppets, right? When you start getting to like a LeBron and the Jay-Z level, you really not running your mouth off like that. Some people, they get mad froggers. They get like a couple of $1 million and they feel like they that guy. I'm King Act. I'm Big Act. You know, and he looks like one of my kids' plushies. You know those little squishies, the little plushy things that the kids be liking with the little big weird eyes and stuff like that. He looked like that with those little beady eyes, right? But he's not one of ours, all right? He is not one of ours, guys. He is not. What's going on, Barney? But that just tells you he's around groomers. Any person, any man who's comfortable with just letting it roll off of his tongue, talking to a minor, like he was talking to that boy, coaxing him, right? That tells you that his company is a bunch of groomers and people like DJ Academics, right? They run off their mouth, right? But when the heat comes on them, they really trying to shut it down really, really quickly with some bogus ass accountability. Talk about, so this is a teaching moment. Bruh, you 35 years old. You should have been taught. Say hello to his little friend. But my son loves Nerf. I don't know if that's like a really good toy for him, but he has like every type of Nerf gun, and he be lighting his sister's ass up, just forcing that poor girl into compliance. It's like the duties of a little brother is to shoot his sister with the Nerf pellets, apparently. But you said, who cares where he comes from? I care where he comes from, especially when he start talking about black folks. All right, we start really culture protecting, right? Especially when people don't reflect our culture. We got to start dissecting these folks. Up, foundational Black American. Are they a descendant of freedmen? Nope. Legacy of immigrants. They don't belong to us, right? Don't put that shit on our people. Yeah, we get mad tribal in America, actually. I actually dig it. I dig it. I dig it. I'm all with the tribalism, right? I'm not about separatism, but I dig the tribalism. I don't have any problems with the white supremacists that want to stay with their own and build their strong bloodlines. That's great. Just don't bring y'all asses over here taking ours. That's all I ask, right? It was fair for the goose is fair for the gander. Right? So if that's how you feel, Just don't go running around tainting and replacing other bloodlines. It's just fair. But anyways, LeBron might be a witch. Kobe Bryant published a book on Amazon called ECROF, for spelled backwards. Kobe was a witch. I don't know what these people are, but I do believe that, when you get into these higher elite circles, right, there's degrees to, what they think your knowledge base and understanding of certain things should be. I think that these people, some of them are introduced to practices and rituals that empowers them. I've seen a number of people do like Baphomet symbolisms and different hand gestures repetitively. To me, that all indicates that, they may be in association with certain, cults. And I mean, when you go back to Rome, and I've been really just dissecting the Roman Empire, right? You had a lot of political elitist cults, a lot of their artists, a lot of their celebrities. They were all part of these cults, right? And they were pagans, right? And it's so funny because I was looking at Candace Owens, and I guess she's on a new obsession, or it's not a new obsession of hers, but obviously she's on her Nancy Drew mission to prove that Emmanuel Macron, wife Brigitte Macron, is actually a man. Now, I mean, honestly, I've seen a lot of French broads, and I mean, Brigitte, obviously maybe they've had some work done. I don't know, but some French broads look like men to me, so I can't really tell from Brigitte Macron, right? But it's so funny because I was reading just this site because I'm like a nerd out person. I was reading just the history of eunuchs, right? Anybody know what the eunuchs were, right? In the Bible, we read about the Ethiopian eunuchs, right? And in China, they had both male and female eunuchs, right? And I mean, some people did this for ritualistic reasons. Some people did this for military reasons. Some people did this, did it so that it was kind of like the first, you know, I guess, means of abortion or sterilization of people, for certain reasons in certain cultures. But it was interesting to me, like in China and even in some of the other ancient world power structures, you have these eunuchs, right? So, you know, I would not be surprised if girly boys are a fan favorite of sports people. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a fan favorite of a lot of powerful politicians. I mean, there's a lot of men that have an affinity for young boys. They're disgusting people, right? They're repulsive people. They're satanic people, selfish people. So that is just to say that I would not be surprised about anything. But am I obsessed with if that man's wife is a dude? No, because I don't care about these Satanists like that at the end of the day. So exposing them on anything beyond their just wicked deeds against humanity, that's just not an interest to me, unless, these people obviously have crimes against humanity. Emmanuel Macron's wife possibly being a dude, it really doesn't do anything for overall humanity outside of maybe a manipulation that, we thought that she was a she and she really has cut off cock and balls. Who knows? But I don't really care what people transform themselves into. They want to be the modern day Nephilim, whatever they want to call themselves. Do that, right? God's going to judge everybody anyway. So what is that for me to have on my mind, right? But she did mention the Paris Olympics, and she mentioned something about the Last Supper, and I remember that being a big controversy that they were parroting the Last Supper. And then one of the curators said, no, we weren't curating the Last Supper, it was actually a pagan feast. And when I looked at that picture again, one of the things that I think a lot of people need to realize too is when you see the Roman depictions of Jesus, right? And he has like these little sort of crowns or sun rays like coming out of his head. That's actually a mockery. That it's a mockery depiction of Messiah. Number one, Jesus was not white. So there's the first mockery. But secondly, when you think about the rise of Jesus's ministry, right? And then consequently what was happening in Rome, there was a cult. And remember, Rome had several religions, established pagan religions. There was a cult called Mithras, or Mithraism, right? And they actually had churches, right? Roman soldiers were actually a part of this Mithra cult, and they sort of fuse sort of the Abrahamic idealism with this Mithras cult. But when you look at images of Mithra and you look at the images of the Roman Jesus, right? They seem to kind of and have these sun rays, right? And so when I looked at that Paris Olympics things again, I'm like, it was a satanic mockery of the Last Supper, but it was not something that the people who followed the Mithras cult would not have been doing either, right? Because everything about what they do is a mockery to the Most High, anyways. So in broad scheme of things, it could have been a overt mockery of the Last Supper, or it could have been truly a homage to a satanic feast because they were doing the same thing. They were meeting in secret, and Mithras is said to have had 12 apostles, right? And they have these different feasts. And so I'm thinking that just like they did in Rome, they were just fusing Christian and pagan concepts together in the Paris Olympics. But that just tells you and validate all the same that this is Satan's world. So you can't be offended by too much. I mean, you really just can't. This is Satan's world, right? So, anyways, I don't know if LeBron is a witch though. Oh, you said Bridget has zero pictures as a child or a teenager. I think she do have pictures of her as a child. I mean, she just looks like a little boy instead of a girl. I mean, you look at those pictures that have been produced of this so-called brother of Brigitte's, and you're like, man, that is her all the way. Unless they were twins, all the facial features matches this so-called woman, right? But then you look at her own husband who has a fetish for pedophilia writers, and it's like it makes sense. And again, these people are part of elite sex trafficking circles, right? I wouldn't even be surprised if Emmanuel Macron himself was already groomed to be in that situation. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody who was a handler of his possibly made sure that he met this Brigitte person. This Brigitte person probably groomed him for quite some time before he or she actually got this boy to be intimate. But I personally do believe that when you look at these oligarchs and they got all these little teenagers and these boys, like she was mentioning, that just immediately took me to that woman who talked about the elite sex trafficking situation that she was in from the time that she was 5 to 11. And some of these people that she was being introduced to, and one of them was a very powerful man in Germany who had her traveling with her or with him as his niece, right? But really she was his slave. And she was only 5 years old. This sick, disgusting, grown ass man robbing the innocence of this little girl, right? Because he has the power to do so. This is Satan's world, right? This is Satan's world, and this stuff is allowed. This stuff is covered over, and I think the worst reality of it is that you have parents who are seeking fortune and wealth, who are willfully submitting their children to these types of lifestyles so that they can get an allowance from these sick people who are taking advantage of their children. And there's cycles of that stuff going on as well. So, you know, the world is crazy, y'all. The world is crazy. But, anyways, let's see. I don't know who that Gerald person is. I don't really follow people like that. Who's Gerald? I don't know who that is. You said Catholic Candace. If Candace really was a super sleuth, if she started getting into the Catholics, I bet you she would be like non-denominational real quick. She literally converted to one of the more satanic religions in the world. I'm no disrespect to the Catholics, but if y'all knew y'all own religious history, you wouldn't even be Catholic. You would not even be Catholic. But anyways, you guys, let's pray for those people, involved in these aviation accidents, right? They're selling them. These are accidents. Like I said, I'd be real curious to know who that patient was or who was on that medical flight, because that's just wow. The medical flight crash is like, shoot, you flying to get help and you just basically flying to your death. I think people are going to be very, very scared to fly. I don't really like flying. I am more of a road tripper myself, but I do realize that flying has its convenience, but I think the mechanical issues of the plane started getting to me years ago. And so I really avoid flying at all costs. I had a business meeting for a week and I had to work out of St. Louis for a week. And I live in Michigan. St. Louis is an 8-hour drive. And I did it to and fro just so I didn't have to get on a plane. But the good thing is, I was talking to some of my peers as they were on their flights. We were like kind of just talking as I was driving home. And they were like, yeah, my flight's delayed for like 3 hours. So I'm just hanging there. And I'm like, shoot, that's 3 hours closer to me being home just in my own car with my road trip music on. So yeah, I can do without the planes. If I can avoid planes, and I know eventually I need to get on one because I do want to travel, but like all the places that I want to travel, I don't know. It just seemed like we might have more war upon us than we realize. I don't think that Trump is going to bring, here's the thing. I have mixed feelings about Trump because on one side, I think that it is by design that Trump is going to usher in a new world structure that everyone will be happy with. And I feel like it has to happen like that, right? Because again, we talk about the last days for people who follow this channel. The hearts of many about God needs to turn cold, right? And you can't do that when everything is bad, because obviously, people don't really care about anything ending when it's bad, right? But when everything is good and everything is the perception of how people would supposedly feel blessed in Satan's world, I think that's when you're going to see all of these judgments start happening. And it's going to make people curse God, because those so called believers are like Lot's wife. And I've called these, they have the spirit of Lot's wife, where they don't want this system of things to end. They don't want judgment day to come. Even talking about it is like a fear inspiring thing for these people. And it's like, that's how you know they're not real believer. If judgment day scares you, you're not a real believer. You should be excited. I'm like Usher. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Man, I can't wait to Judgment Day. But anyway, Shabbat Shalom to all of my people who observe. This is our time of rest. We don't really have to think about too much of anything until tomorrow sundown. So get your rest. I am about to get my relaxation going. I ain't doing nothing until tomorrow sundown, and I'm gonna get my beauty sleep. So get your Saturday Sabbath nap in. They're the best. They are the best, and they keep you looking youthful, right? I'll be 42 on Wednesday. Yep. And it's so funny. I'm just like, I used to hate getting old, the whole notion of getting older. I mean, I have grays in my hair. But now I'm just like, I'm wiser. Like, I don't care about getting older because I've gotten wiser, right? I can evaluate myself at any 5 year, progression of my life and say, hey, I actually improved. I actually changed my mind about something. I actually, saw things differently. I learned to make a better decision or have a better judgment about something. And I feel like aging doesn't have to be a bad thing if you are constantly learning. A lot of people aren't learning, so they're just kind of, aging with disgrace. And that's why they hate aging. When you age with disgrace, when you lack wisdom, you're not acquiring wisdom, you don't age very well. So, yeah, let me go back to the chat before I sign off. But all praises to God in heaven. I believe in Sabbath. Okay, I just really have been taking it serious. Um, like I think for the last past year now, and I just feel peaceful. I feel rested, and I do encourage people to observe Sabbath, right? And drink your water, cucumber, mint water, drink that too. But yeah, and age gracefully. And don't be afraid of aging. That's all I can say. I am not Jewish. I think there's a difference between Jews and Hebrews. Even though people would like to say they're synonymous, they're not. One practiced Judaism and the other practiced the Abrahamic faith. So I am not Jewish. I leave the Jew title to the sons of Japheth, not the sons of Shem. All right. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sabbath and the rest of your evening, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.